Hey everybody, it's time for another video rant series intro. And this right here, this is my rant on Disney channels, Cartoon Networks, Nickelodeons and various children's channels. Disney Channel the most. Terrible scheduling, doing nothing but showing the same programs over and over again. They're atrocious, which causes their number two, their atrocious low ratings. They're atrocious low ratings because exciting as the new Disney Channel era is, and Cartoon Network and Nickelodeons are, well, Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon are kind of terrible, but as exciting as these new eras are, they are terrible now because of the scheduling, and because of the scheduling, they have some of the most abysmal and worst television ratings of all time during their 20-plus year existence. Yeah, during their 20, almost 30-year plus existence. What else? What else about Cartoon Network? And yeah, Disney Channel will be the most because Disney Channel is currently the best right now. Cartoon Network and Nickelodeon, they have several good shows and good things going for them, but they are downright atrocious right now, and it's because of the same scheduling problem. Instead of playing a schedule and showing shows like you used to, they take the same few shows and show them over and over again in a marathon format, and are surprised when their ratings are low. But Disney Channel, in my opinion, since 2017 has been the best it's ever been since the late 90s, early 2000s. But Disney Channel, number one in this era. I like how they went back to in this video I'm gonna rant. I like how they went back to cartoons. They went back to cartoons. But in this era, I like their movies and sitcoms more. In the old Disney Channel, my other favorite era, the late 90s, early 2000s, I like their cartoons and movies more. And in the second era, my second favorite era, the 2005 through 11 and 13 era, I liked your sitcoms. I like your sitcoms and movies. I like your sitcoms and movies better. But yeah, this has been my favorite era of Disney Channel, the new era which started in 2017, the 2017, 18 through 21 era. Disney Channel from 2011 through 2016 was absolutely atrocious. I'm going to be doing a rant on that era. It was absolutely atrocious. By the way, there'll be both a webcam and a narration, just for people who, because this is a webcam, might even reading the title might not find this video. So more people will find this video. I'm going to do a webcam and narration version. I'm gonna do both a webcam and narration version. But anyway, going back to what I was saying, Disney Channel from 2011 through 16 was absolutely atrocious. They got better in 17. In 2016 with two shows. The first one was the Asian American Canadian show, Andy Mack. Then Raven's Home. These shows opened the gateway for more shows. Then you got more cool cartoons like Big City Greens, Amphibia, Owl House, and Miraculous Ladybug, a new show called The Ghost and Molly McGee, which is pretty good, and another show on Disney XD, 101 Dalmatians. So your cartoons are great, and these cartoons are leading, and that's great. But your sitcoms, in my opinion, in this era were more exciting, like Sitting to the Max, which of course just recently finished its season. It finished its first 3 seasons. I'm pretty sure that'll get renewed. You have Gabby Durran and the Unsittables. This really inspired me. Gabby Durran and the Unsittables ended on a cliffhanger. So it pretty much opened the door for a season 3. All of a sudden, Nathan Lovejoy, who portrays Principal Swift in the show, recently confirmed Instagram that Disney have recently canceled the show. I'm hoping he's wrong because Disney has yet to say something. It was just Lovejoy saying this. I'm hoping he's wrong, but this right here inspired this video series. Then you had Cooper and Cami Ask the World, one of your newest premiering shows. This was not only canceled, this was canceled silently, and Disney Channel withdrew references to the show and actors. Gabby Durran and several other shows you can still find on their website. You can't find Cooper and Cami Ask the World at all. And these shows, these are your currently newest premiering shows, and they're never on. Instead, they're showing the cartoons, they show they show multiple areas of the cartoons, which is cool, but show the live action stuff too. The live action stuff is barely on, but instead they have time for reruns of Bizarre Bark, which is old and terrible, and of course Jesse. And I understand Jesse has to be here because of Cameron Boyce, and of course it's the prequel to your current series, Bumped. But still, yeah. But this is what this is an intro for. This would be me ranting on Disney's cancellation of Disney, Cartoon Network, and Nickelodeon's cancellation of multiple shows, and their terrible scheduling and piss poor ratings. Sorry this intro took so long. So with that being said, let's show these networks what I'm made of. Hey everyone, it's time for my rant on the cancellation of Cooper and Cami Ask the World. Just roll with it. And most recently now, Gabby Durran and the Unsittables. Let's start off with Cooper and Cami Ask the World. Cooper and Cami Ask the World, like I've said in plenty of reviews, this is one of my all-time favorite and best Disney Channel shows, and one of my all-time favorite and best Disney Channel sitcoms. This show, in my opinion, took a relatively lame concept like the internet. In my opinion, the internet is a really lame concept. An internet web show is a lame concept for a sitcom, despite the fact that's part of our society. I thought iCarly, the show that made this popular, I thought iCarly was always overrated trash, and only worked because of the actors and actresses and people involved with the show, with the quote-unquote show. And I'm watching the reruns now. It's even worse now than it was back then. And I'm watching the reboot. The reboot is mostly the same garbage, with just adult jokes, and swearing and more sexually suggestive scenes. But the biggest sin with that sitcom is the annoying laugh track. But save that for an iCarly rant. Cooper and Cami Ask the World. in my opinion. Then Disney Channel tried their own hand with Bizarre Bark, which this was somehow surprisingly. I enjoyed Bizarre Bark a little bit more for some odd reason. I don't know why. But this was even worse than iCarly. This was even worse than iCarly. One of Disney Channel's worst shows. Cooper and Cami asked the world the underrated, technically underrated, love child of these shows. Love child of these shows, my opinion, succeeded. In my opinion, where both these shows succeeded in the writing, at least, where both of these shows failed. They managed to use the internet web show, the internet celebrity thing, but they managed to mix it. They managed to coerce it and successfully integrate it into the plot and into the main character's story, personal lives. The whole plot is, of course, the title characters Cooper and Cami rather host an online double dare show called Would You Rather, which is of course a pun on their last name. Would you rather do this, go without your phone for a day, or go without your pants, which was I think that was in the first episode. Go without your pants for a day. With their friend Fred, their Asian friend Fred, the only main character of the show who's not part of the Rather family, and their little brother Ollie being pretty much performers and stunts people on the show. They do that, and this show is powered by their fans, the Ratherheads. They also, when they run into a problem and realize that they can't solve on their own, they ask their fans, the Ratherheads, with their phones. They ask their fans, Ratherheads, for advice, and the Ratherheads usually pick the right thing. Usually pick the right thing. Like I said, when I came back to Disney Channel in 2020, it was nothing. When I came back to 2020, when Sydney to the Max came on, I was immediately impressed with the new era sitcoms. Stronger. They still have laugh tracks, but at least with Disney Channel, they have an audience for several scenes. They use the laugh tracks in front of audiences. So the SEO is at least half organic. And number two, they have some jokes and some parts fall flat, but they have better jokes, better comedy, and more importantly, stronger writing in their sitcoms with more serious issues. This show is still goofy as ever. But the show was vastly reminiscent of old school, late 90s, early 2000s, early to mid and late 2000s Disney Channel shows, a throwback to those eras of Disney Channel. And the show was getting better. Season 1 was okay, but Season 2 was a vast improvement. I'm glad I started watching during Season 2, and the show just kept getting better. And then finally, unfortunately, COVID-19 pandemic hit, and Disney canceled a lot of shows, and I think this one was canceled along with them. But this was number one. It was silently canceled. That was number one. Now, shows like Just Roll With It, not Just Roll With It, but shows like I Didn't Do It, Best Friends Whenever, those shows were silently canceled because they sucked. They were terrible. I enjoy those shows a little bit better now, but watching them now, those shows were atrocious. Those shows were downright atrocious, and some of Disney Channel's worst. This was the 2011-2016 era where Disney Channel was just throwing stuff at the wall and seeing what sticks. They weren't even trying. They were just putting stuff on television and greenlighting whatever dumb, ludicrous idea they had. 2017, late 2000, somewhere in 2016 and 17, with Andy Mack and Raven's Home, Disney Channel started getting better again. Then they did something they should have did back in 2011, and that's go back to your cartoons. They did that too. They finally did it, but I wish they could have done it in 2011 when you still had a big audience. You still, even though this was the end of the Hannah Montana, Dylan and Cole, Sprouse twins, Selena Gomez, Demi Lovato era, and Jonas Brothers era, even though it was the end of that era, you still had the fans from that era coming over to 2011, but instead of doing that, you foolishly tried an even younger lamer teeny boppy era with the likes of the late Cameron Boyce, one of the worst actresses to ever be involved with Disney Channel, Sky Jackson, the little Afro-American girl, dark-skinned Afro-American girl from Jesse, Zendaya Coleman, and Bella Thorpe. You try and leave it era with these actors and actresses, and your ratings slowly went down, and now we're still in the consequences. Disney Channel, still, despite being much better now, it's a whole new cast, a whole new generation. Despite the whole new cast, whole new generation, are still in the ratings are still in the toilet. Ratings are still in the toilet now. They're the worst it's ever been. No one is watching this new era of Disney Channel. Back in the 90s, back in the 2000s, late 90s, early 2000s, Disney Channel was full of monster ratings. Everyone was watching these shows. No one is really watching these shows nowadays. It's a damn shame because these shows were good. They, like I said, they were the perfect family shows. When you were having a bad day, had a fight with someone, these were the perfect family shows to quote unquote watch. Then you had the next show. What was the next show? That was the first thing. And did Stuck in the Middle, that was canceled because it started off strong, but the ratings kept declining. And to tell you the truth, Stuck in the Middle, that was an enjoyable show. That was a show that had great ideas, but it was poorly executed. Gabby Durran and the Unsittables, the next Hispanic-based comedy series, did this show much better. Did it much better and got it right. Got it right. But they did announce the cancellation. They announced that show will not be returning past this. I think it was canceled after season 3. That show will not be returning after season 3. They didn't announce I didn't do it in Best Friends because those shows were terrible. Then you got so number one, silently canceling a currently premiering show. Number 3, not even rerunning the show. You have more time for crappy shows like Jessie, which has been on for 5 to 6 years now. I know they have, once again, like I said, they have it for 2 reasons. Number 1 is the prequel to Bunk, but season 4 of Bunk is so much different than Jessie and seasons 1 and 3 of Bunk that you don't really need to watch seasons 1 and 3 of Bunk to understand season 4. But it's there if you want to see how that came to be. And if you want that, you can air the show once in the afternoon and once late at night. That should not be on in the afternoon, evening, nighttime, and late at night. Sometimes on weekends it's in marathon form. That should not be an old show like that. Should not be in marathon form. Should not be in marathon quote unquote form. Then you have you don't want to rerun Cooper and Cami Asked a currently premiering show and a recently just ended show, but you want to constantly air garbage. Like you want to air Liv and Maddie, which is old. You want to air Bizarre Bark, Austin Alley, which these shows are old. They're still on the Disney Channel website list of shows, despite the fact they're old, which is the next thing Cooper and Cami Asked removing all references to the show. The actors and actresses are in different projects. You no longer see any of them except for Ruby Rose Turner in the Virtual Sleepover. I think that show is canceled too. I mostly see reruns. I've yet to see a new episode. Then again, I haven't seen all of them. I've yet to see a new episode of the Ruth and Ruby sleepover series. Ruth, of course, the girl from Sitting to the Max, the main character from Sitting to the Max. That Ruby Rose is the only one you still occasionally see. You don't even see much of her anymore. All the others are not even on Disney Channel with different projects, and they removed all references to the show, actors and actresses, as if they were never there. That was the next thing. And 5, canceling the last 3 episodes. You could at least finish it, man. Done through the last 3 episodes. At least Cooper and Cami Asked actually finished their show, which is why they probably didn't do the last 3 episodes. The series ended with Principal Walker marrying into the family. But I would love to see the last 3 episodes, because the last episode, even though that episode I just mentioned, Principal Walker marrying and proposing to Jenna and marrying into the family, that wasn't the last episode. Unfortunately, the last episode was an episode that was postponed because of the COVID-19 pandemic, and that was Would You Rather Have a Snow Day. They took a lame filler episode. The episode on its own was okay. It was actually exciting. It was worth the wait. They took a lame filler episode and aired as your season finale. So your awesome franchise, awesome series, ends on a lame, terrible filler episode that should have aired in early 2020 instead of late September of 2020 when it aired. And like I said, boycotting Disney Channel. I'll still tune in for my favorite shows and new premieres of my favorite shows and movies. But until these shows return in full until these shows return in full length format, in evenings, nighttime, daytime, yeah, the chances of them returning from cancellation is highly unlikely and rare. But these shows at least returning and being on the channel, and the actors and actresses being in various commercials. That's number two. That's number one and two. Number three, greenlighting the sequel to Upside Down Magic, which is greenlighting the sequel to Upside Down Magic, which I'm going to talk about that in another video. But yeah, then of course, the next show on this list was quote unquote the next show was Just Roll With It. Now this was the weaker of the new Disney Channel shows, but this was a fun show. This was a fun, exciting, creative, interactive show to watch. This show was unique in that this show is a sketch comedy, is a Amanda show sketch comedy, Amanda show so random style of show within a show format. It features actors and actresses on camera performing a show that's watched by the audience, and then throughout the show they ring various horns, and no matter which horn is rung, every character, even the bad guy, will stop and break character to react to the horn, and the crowd will decide what that character does, and whatever happens is the main cast members, they have to just roll with it. A weird concept for a television show, but a unique and creative one. And the show wasn't the best, but it gave me something to look forward to. It was pretty much the replacement for Cooper and Cami Ask the World. It was the 2020 Sunny with a Chance and Amanda show, and all that was what the show was. And already because of the stupid pandemic, you straight up canceled the show. And once again, remove all references to it. That's no longer on the Disney Channel website, and it's rarely you never see it on the channel anymore. But we still got more time for crappy shows like Bizarre Mark, which is still on the website, and still gets airtime. We got shows like Austin and Ally. Austin and Ally is not part of the current lineup, but it's still listed on the website. Despite being over for several years. Kicking It, another show like Kicking It. That was an awesome show, but that show's been over for several years. That's still listed on the website. That's not part of the current lineup of programming, but it's still on the website, despite the fact it's been over for several years. Austin and Ally is also on the website and has been over for several years. That was a fun sitcom, but that was another terrible sitcom. That was one of the more enjoyable sitcoms behind Good Luck Charlie. That was the best sitcom and live action show during that period. Yeah, you can't show that. It's another cool Rant show. You have to show reruns. You can't rerun and show that show, your best early 2000s, your best early 2010 show. But no, we gotta watch garbage. We gotta watch garbage like those shows. Liv and Maddie and Austin Ally, they were okay, but they're old. Yeah. So yeah. Yeah. But you can't show Just Roll With It. And now, just recently, just mere minutes and hours ago, I was online and I was on Disney Channel. I was on Gabby Durran's Wikipedia page looking up information for the season 3 confirmation, because the season two finale, season 2 really wasn't that good. Wasn't that good compared to season 1. The whole thing mostly felt like a giant filler arc compared to season 1, which felt like a legitimate story arc. But season 2 had a lot of great episodes, with the season 2 finale being the best. I read, when I was reading the paragraph for season 2 and the season finale, they had the audacity to announce the final episode that aired as the series finale. Like the series finale, and I checked the trivia note and production, the trivia and references, and it has Nathan Lovejoy, who portrays Principal Swift in the show, announcing that this show is canceled. But this show, now here's what I'm hoping. Nathan Lovejoy said that Disney Channel has yet to say that. Then I heard a fan talking about, see, Disney only has the rights to air this show, to distribute this show, because this show is mostly a Canadian-based production. Disney only has the rights to air and distribute this show. They don't have the rights to announce a continuation and stuff. So, but Disney Channel, they can get it renewed if they can shoot it anywhere other than Canada, because Canada has their own problems with the COVID-19 pandemic and stuff like that. That's how I heard that part from a fan. Don't quote me on that, but I do hope if that's true, the show does return, because Disney Channel never announced anything, and Disney Channel still has the show currently on its website. But then again, they have other reran and cancel shows on their website, still listed. Disney Channel still, and then Disney Channel everywhere still has it running. No, only he via Instagram, and he just said it was a fun ride. It hasn't been renewed. It hasn't been renewed. He never stated where his source was of the show being quote unquote being canceled. So I hope Disney Channel does try to find and renew the season for season 3, for quote unquote season 3. If you wanted to end the show, why didn't you just end it with the last episode, Magic Hours? That episode would have been a much better conclusion to the series than this one right here, which ended things on a happy note, but immediately set things up for season 3. And that's why I hope this show isn't canceled. But then people also say the show could be canceled. They've yet to even give a real legitimate reason for its cancellation. And some say, oh, low ratings. Your low ratings are because the show finished its season 1 run in March 2020 and reran for the first half of summer, then completely disappeared for the rest of the year. And the first half of 2021 didn't come back until June of this year, with no hype, no promotion, no updates or anything, up until it finally in June 2021 you finally show a promo hyping season 2, and you expect people to watch, and you expect to have high ratings. You can't just take a show off the air for a year and put it back and still expect to have high ratings, and then be surprised with your lower ratings. So yeah, but you can't blame the low ratings on the quality of the show itself. And if you want to talk low ratings, all of your shows have low ratings nowadays. No one's watching this new Disney Channel era, and it's all because of that horrible 2011, 2016 era of Disney Channel. But yeah, I'm so mad about this. Disney Channel has their Magic Bake Off, their Magic Games, and their Christmas movie tonight. I'm so angry. I'm not even sure if I'm watching those tonight because of how angry I am right now with this news, man. Yeah. Like I said, until all these shows return and return prime time, and Gabby Durran Unsittables is renewed for season 3, and what was that other show? Oh yeah, that movie Upside Down Magic is we're in a sequel. I'm currently boycotting Disney Channel. I'll still come back and watch my favorite shows and new episodes of my favorite shows, but this is some of the biggest BS ever, man. And yeah, man. Yeah. So yeah, you want to hear the rest of the music? Turn the video off right now.
Like a million faces, I recognize them all. And one by one they all become a number as they fall. In the face of reason, I can't take no more. One by one they all become like monks on the floor. Is it me? Is something you're looking for? Let me show you who I am and what I have in store. In store. Hey, yeah. Trying to reach inside of me, trying to drain my energy. Let me show you just what I'm made of. Simple purity.